Hi, I'm Azari. My sister's wedding was supposed to be one of those magical family moments. You know, the kind where everyone puts aside their differences and celebrates love. Instead, I found myself sitting alone at a corner table, practically hidden behind a massive floral centerpiece, while the rest of my family enjoyed prime seating near the head table. Can I get you anything else, miss? The waiter asked, genuine sympathy in his eyes. No thanks, I'm fine, I replied, forcing a smile while watching Vanessa, radiant in her designer gown, laughing with her college friends. Table 16? Really? I muttered, checking my place card again. My mother had promised I'd be seated with family. As I scrolled through my phone to look busy, a shadow fell across the table. I looked up to see a tall man in a perfectly tailored suit standing beside me. Mind if I join you? He asked, his voice low and warm. I gestured to the empty chairs. Be my guest. Apparently no one else will be using them. He sat down smoothly, leaning in close. I'm Ethan. Pretend you're my date. Excuse me? I blinked, unsure if I'd heard him correctly. Your sister, Vanessa, right? She keeps looking over here with this satisfied smirk. I'm guessing you weren't meant to have company tonight. I straightened, suddenly aware of my sister's occasional glances. I'm Azari, and you're right, this was deliberate. But why would you help me? Derek and I went to college together. Your new brother-in-law has a mean streak. I've seen it before, Ethan replied, taking a sip of water. Plus, I hate seeing someone treated unfairly. You know Derek? I leaned forward. I tried to warn Vanessa about him, and suddenly I'm the family pariah. Let me guess. He convinced her you were jealous? Worse, I said, watching the happy couple on the dance floor. He told her I tried to kiss him at their engagement party. Complete lie, but she believed him instantly. Ethan's eyebrows shot up. That's his signature move. He did the same thing in college to break up friend groups when it suited him. The wedding coordinator tapped the microphone, announcing it was time for family photos. Watch this, I said bitterly. I won't be called. Sure enough, I heard my mother's voice. Vanessa, Derek, grandparents, cousins. Where's Madison? We need Madison for this one. Ethan frowned. Madison? Not you, her sister? Madison's her best friend. Apparently more family than I am now. As I watched Madison, not even a blood relative, take my place in the family portrait, something inside me broke. The final betrayal. Ethan, I said, my voice suddenly calm. How well do you actually know Derek? Well enough to know he hasn't changed since college. Ethan's expression darkened. And well enough to have stories Vanessa should have heard before saying I do. I think, I said slowly, I'm done protecting my sister from the truth. She made her choice when she believed him over me. Ethan pulled out his phone. Interesting, because I may still have some messages and evidence that would paint quite a different picture of Prince Charming over there. I watched as my sister kissed her new husband, blissfully unaware of what was coming. Tell me everything, I said. Derek wasn't just a player, he was calculating about it, Ethan explained as we sat in the hotel bar after most wedding guests had retired. He kept records, Azari, like it was some kind of game. I gripped my glass tighter. Records? Of what exactly? Conquests, manipulations, girls he'd managed to isolate from their friends. It was all on a private blog he thought was secure. Ethan scrolled through his phone. A mutual friend found it our senior year. I downloaded everything before Derek deleted it all. And you kept it all these years? Why? Insurance. Derek threatened to ruin my reputation when I confronted him. Ethan shrugged. Call it self-preservation. My mind raced with possibilities. This changes everything. But Vanessa won't just take your word for it. She's completely under his spell. Azari! There you are! My mother's voice cut through our conversation. She approached our table, her expression a mixture of surprise and disapproval. Who's your friend? Mom, this is Ethan. Ethan, my mother, Patricia. Lovely wedding, Mrs. Patel, Ethan said smoothly. Thank you, she replied, her smile not reaching her eyes. Azari, Vanessa was looking for you during the cake cutting. Was she? Funny how she found Madison for the family photos instead of her sister. Mom shifted uncomfortably. That was a misunderstanding. You were missing. I was at my assigned table. Table 16, Mom, in the corner behind the plants. That's not... Derek handled the seating arrangements as a surprise for Vanessa. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. Ethan cleared his throat. Actually, Mrs. Patel, Derek specifically requested Azari be seated away from family. I overheard him telling the wedding coordinator it was because she causes drama. Mom's face fell. That can't be right. It is, came a new voice. Madison approached our table, looking uncomfortable. Mrs. Patel, I need to talk to Azari. Privately. I'll wait at the bar, Ethan said, excusing himself with a polite nod. Once he'd gone, Madison slid into the empty chair. Who's the hottie? An old college friend of Derek's, I replied. What do you want, Madison? Come to gloat about replacing me in the family photos? Madison winced. I tried to tell Vanessa to include you, I swear. But Derek insisted you'd make a scene. And you all believed him. The bitterness in my voice was unmistakable. Not anymore, Madison said, lowering her voice. Azari, I heard something tonight. Derek was on the phone in the hallway. He was talking to someone named Cynthia. Said he'd deal with the wife after they got back from their honeymoon. My mother gasped. No! There must be some explanation. Mom, how many explanations do you need? I hissed. First he lies about me coming on to him, then he isolates me at the wedding, and now this? Vanessa's my friend, Madison continued. But she deserves to know the truth. I just don't know how to tell her. I caught Ethan's eye across the room. I think I know someone who can help with that. The hotel suite door opened, revealing Vanessa still in her wedding dress, makeup smudged from crying. An emergency family meeting? Today of all days? She snapped. Her eyes widened, seeing everyone gathered. Me, our mother, Madison, and Ethan. Who are you? She demanded, looking at Ethan. An old friend of your husband's, Ethan replied calmly. Where is Derek? Mom asked, looking around the suite. Taking a shower, Vanessa replied defensively. What is this about? I stepped forward. Vanessa, we need to talk about Derek, about who he really is. Her face hardened instantly. I can't believe you're still trying to ruin this for me. On my wedding night. I'm not... Yes, you are. Ever since I got engaged, you've been jealous and difficult. Madison stepped between us. V, please listen. This isn't just Azari. I heard Derek on the phone tonight with someone named Cynthia. Vanessa's face paled slightly before she recovered. His cousin. They're close. He doesn't have a cousin, Cynthia, Ethan said quietly. But he did date a Cynthia Weathers 3 years ago. The bathroom door opened, and Derek emerged in a hotel robe, freezing when he saw the gathered group. What's going on? His eyes locked on Ethan. What the hell are you doing here? Hello, Derek. It's been a while, Ethan replied coolly. Derek's face darkened. Vanessa, why is this guy in our suite? Apparently he knows you, she replied, confusion evident. Derek, who's Cynthia? The flash of panic in Derek's eyes was unmistakable. What? Nobody. I don't know what they've been telling you. Stop lying, I interrupted. Madison heard you on the phone. This is ridiculous. You're ruining our wedding night with baseless accusations, Derek shouted, moving to stand protectively beside Vanessa. Ethan pulled out his phone. Actually, I have proof. Text messages, blog posts, everything. From college? Derek scoffed. Ancient history. People change. This is from 2 weeks ago, Ethan said, turning his phone toward Vanessa. Your husband, checking into the airport Marriott with Cynthia Weathers. The color drained from Vanessa's face as she stared at the photo. You said you were at a bachelor weekend with your cousins? Baby, these people are trying to manipulate you. And this, Ethan continued relentlessly, is Derek's private blog where he detailed his conquests through college, including his strategies for isolating women from their support systems. Sound familiar, Vanessa? This is slander. Derek lunged toward Ethan, but I stepped between them. Touch him, and I'll add assault to what's coming, I warned. Derek turned to Vanessa, desperation in his eyes. Babe, I was young and stupid in college. And that photo? It's not what it looks like. I can explain everything. Please, just make them leave so we can talk. Classic isolation tactic, Madison murmured. Get out, Vanessa whispered, staring at the floor. Exactly. Tell them to leave, Derek started. Not them, Vanessa interrupted, finally looking up at Derek with tear-filled eyes. You. Get out. You can't be serious. We just got married. Derek's voice rose in panic. And you've been cheating on me. Planning to continue cheating? I made a mistake. I'll change. I love you, Derek pleaded, reaching for her hands. Vanessa stepped back, her voice growing stronger. Love. You don't even know what that word means. You isolated me from my sister, the one person who saw through you. That's not what happened, Derek protested. She was jealous. She lied about you making a pass at her, Vanessa finished. Funny how that's the exact same thing you did to Ethan's girlfriend in college, according to these messages. Those messages are taken out of context. Derek was sweating now. Vanessa, baby, you know me. We've been together for 2 years. And how many of those months were you seeing Cynthia behind my back? Vanessa held up Ethan's phone. According to these hotel receipts, at least 8. If you don't leave now, my mother said with unexpected steel in her voice, I'm calling hotel security and the police. Derek's face contorted with rage. You'll regret this, he spat, jabbing a finger at me. All of you will, especially you, Azari. This isn't over. Actually, it is, I replied calmly. And if you threaten me or my family again, we'll add that to the restraining order we're filing tomorrow. The annulment papers are filed, Vanessa said 3 weeks later as we sat in my apartment. And the restraining order is in place after those threatening texts. Good, I nodded, pouring her more tea. Has he tried contacting you again? Not since his assets were frozen in the fraud investigation. A small, satisfied smile played on her lips. Turns out Ethan's evidence led to much more than just his cheating. Madison arrived with a bag of takeout. Speaking of Ethan, is he coming? As if on cue, there was a knock at the door. Ethan entered with an armful of case files. Ladies, we have updates. Over dinner, Ethan laid out the latest developments. The DA is pressing charges on 3 counts of financial fraud. Apparently, Derek was siphoning money from his company into personal accounts, and 2 other women have come forward about his manipulation tactics. I still can't believe I fell for it all, Vanessa sighed. He had me convinced Azari was jealous and vindictive. Classic abuser playbook, Madison said. Isolate you from people who see through him. My mother joined us via video call on my laptop. Vanessa, dear, the family lawyer says the prenup is ironclad since fraud voids the agreement. You won't lose a penny. I don't even care about the money, Vanessa replied. I just want him held accountable. I placed my hand over hers. He will be. The evidence is overwhelming. You know what hurts the most? Vanessa said, her voice breaking slightly. Not just the betrayal, but how easily I turned against you, Azari. My own sister. He's a master manipulator, I reassured her. You weren't the first to fall for his act, and you wouldn't have been the last. But I should have trusted you, she insisted. When you tried to warn me, I called you toxic and jealous. I even uninvited you from my bridal shower. Which she crashed anyway, Madison added with a small smile. Remember how mad you were? I do, Vanessa admitted. And now I'm just grateful you were both stubborn enough to not give up on me completely. Ethan nodded. His lawyer already reached out about a plea deal. He knows they can't win. What are they offering? Madison asked, leaning forward with interest. 5 years with possibility of parole after 3, plus full restitution to his company and victims, Ethan replied. But the DA thinks we can get more, especially with the new witnesses coming forward. Have you heard from him, Azari? Mom asked, concern evident in her voice. His lawyer sent a letter, I admitted. Derek's offering a heartfelt apology if I'll speak to the DA about leniency. And? Vanessa asked. I sent back a one-word response. No. Madison raised her glass. To standing your ground. As we clinked glasses, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I read it aloud. Azari, it's Derek. I'm begging you. I've lost everything. Please meet me to talk. I truly am sorry. He never gives up, does he? Madison shook her head in disbelief. What will you say? Vanessa asked quietly. I typed a response and showed it to everyone before hitting send. Your apology means nothing. Actions have consequences. See you in court. He had his chance to be honest, I said, putting my phone away. Years of manipulation and lies don't disappear with an I'm sorry. I should have believed you from the start, Vanessa said, tears in her eyes. Can you ever forgive me? You're my sister, I replied, squeezing her hand. I don't hold you responsible for his manipulation. You know, Madison interjected, my cousin works for the DA's office. She says cases like this often inspire others to come forward. There could be more victims we don't know about yet. That's right, Ethan confirmed. The detective mentioned they've received 3 more calls since the press release about the arrest. How are you holding up with all this, Vanessa? My mother asked gently. Vanessa took a deep breath. Better each day. The therapist says I need to acknowledge what happened without blaming myself. It's a process. We're here for you, I promised, every step of the way. Ethan leaned forward. The preliminary hearing is next Tuesday. Are you all prepared to testify? Everyone nodded resolutely. Good, he said, because with your testimonies and the evidence we've gathered, he's facing serious jail time. Later, as everyone was leaving, Ethan lingered at the door. Thank you, I said, for everything. I was just doing the right thing, he replied with a shrug. By the way, I said casually, when you sat down at my table that night and said, pretend you're my date, was that just to help me save face? Ethan smiled. Initially, yes. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hoping for a real date once all this is behind us. I think that could be arranged, I replied with a smile. How about dinner tomorrow? He suggested. I know a great place where nobody will seat you behind a plant. I'd like that, I laughed. Though I've learned sometimes the worst seat in the room puts you exactly where you need to be. True, Ethan nodded. If you hadn't been at table 16, I might never have found the courage to talk to you. And Derek might still be manipulating my sister, I added. Funny how things work out. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't just seeing justice served. It's rebuilding what was broken, stronger than before. What would you do if someone tried to turn your family against you? Would you fight for the truth, no matter how painful? Like and comment below.